Many thanks for coming in today, guys. Really lovely to see you. Andy, Andrew, if you can start by introducing yourselves and then tell us a little bit more about Daisy. Andrew, we'll start with you, if that's okay.
Thanks very much, and thanks for having us. Andrew Livett, been with Daisy for 20 plus years. I'm an infrastructure specialist, so really I try to describe myself as selling anything with a plug or license, but I'm really interested in understanding customers' business outcomes and trying to find technology and services that deliver that outcome, whether that is a resale or a consumption type model, but really just trying to build the products and services that we have to offer and
Fabulous.
Help customers.
Fabulous. Thank you very much. Andy, over to you.
Thank you very much indeed, Jules. The role I've got is a rather long title and a bit grandiose. It's the head of cloud and digital transformation.
Okay.
But what that means for Daisy is being responsible for the portfolio, covering anything from co-located through privately hosted through to the public cloud. And of course, what's really important to me is how we can leverage the technologies that we work with yourselves and with HPE on over the years. And of course, I think also what's really important from a Daisy perspective is our heritage, which is very much in the telecom space, and probably much more as a transactional player. We've moved towards a much more consultative sell. And of course, the underpinning of that is having the HPE tool set through the GreenLake platform to give us some innovation and the ability really feeding into Andrew's world of providing the means for a customer to achieve the outcome they want.
And again, you kind of both sort of touched upon, you've been obviously in the industry for a number of years, and you said the heritage of Daisy. Tell us a little bit more about Daisy, because even from my knowledge of you guys from the last sort of 4 or 5 years, people will remember the name and will understand you as a different kind of organisation. You've evolved. Tell us a little bit more about how that's changed.
Yeah, certainly. Daisy as an organisation has been through many iterations. It started with our chairman, Matthew, back in the day of selling lines and calls. And over the years, we've made something like 53, 54 acquisitions.
Wow.
So you can imagine how that's expanded our portfolio. Some of it was about market consolidation in that space, in the telco space. But latterly, in the 2010s, I suppose, through the acquisition of the likes of Phoenix IT Group, the acquisition of Alternative Networks, of course, we brought in managed service provision very much to the fore. And really what we see ourselves now is the go-to MSP in that mid-market.
And again, even how you work with us as TD SYNNEX, you're very much in our managed service, our MSP division within our organisation as well. I guess, talk to us a little bit more, again, very different roles, you were saying about cloud and from your role as well, Andrew, from a sort of technology and customer interaction. How do you work best with TD SYNNEX, and where, I guess, you've got the experience with working within our different divisions?
Well, I think the engagement with TD is quite unique in the relationships that we have with a number of partners. We've got a traditional transactional distribution channel that may be for a particular vendor or some sort of service, but the relationship we have with TD is across multiple technologies, and as you say, leveraging the managed service aspect. There's a lot of historical activity that we have with yourselves, and there's a lot of great service capability that adds to the support that we have within the business. So historically there's been some great relationships, and we build upon that, and what we do with GreenLake and the success that we've had has definitely grown, and I see that continuing as we do more together.
Fabulous. And Andy, I guess from your side again, because you're kind of cloud and you're not just, I guess, more vendor focused, you must have a visibility and a sort of a spread across our other organisations or across the TD SYNNEX portfolio. But still, again, within the MSP, I know obviously you're sat within that particular division. You can obviously pull in the different expertise, especially when we talk about HPE and HPE GreenLake.
Yes.
It's not just as a sales function. You also have the offering of our professional services team, for example, that you can utilise.
Exactly that. I think that's crucial to us, and I think, as Andrew alluded to, a transactional distributor, great, they have their place. But a partner like TD SYNNEX, it is about bringing much more to the party. I think completely there's still that fulfillment channel,
Yes.
which is brilliant, and that's great for our resale model. But latterly, where we've now adopted the GreenLake platform for our business continuity division, the interaction with TD has been exceptional around things like the sort of the more complex parts of GreenLake around the statements of work and actually how do we transact, and also understanding with TD's expertise and it's sort of that brokering with HPE as a vendor. I mean, clearly we work with them directly as well, but TD bridges that gap and gives us that kind of a bit of comfort to allow us to transact much better.
It's a collaboration though, isn't it, between all of our organisations. I think that's what works well, particularly with you guys, is that we have our own skill sets individually. We work with the vendor to make sure we bring in that solution together. And I guess that when you mentioned about the platform, what you've taken internally within your organisation is where HPE GreenLake comes into its own. And you guys are quite unique in the fact that you have two routes to market by working with ourselves and HPE. You do have your resale model, but equally you're adapting and taking that technology to have your own platform. So if we can start with that in the first kind of instance, and I'll go back to you, Andy, because I know that's more your area. Obviously, we've worked on the platform piece, and obviously that's being delivered into your organisation. Tell us a bit more how that's going to, I guess, help you and your customers and what it's going to give them.
Yeah, I think the challenge with the MSP market over the years is quite often it's had to be a bit of a do-it-yourself approach. You've had technologists and they've looked very much at the SKU level, if you like, for a capability. And over time you build up technical debt. And what TD SYNNEX and HP together have helped with the GreenLake platform is to give us some longevity and some surety of a platform over time.
Yeah.
That is going to be crucial. Daisy now is, in effect, the number one provider of business continuity services in the UK. And that is now going to be powered by GreenLake. So that's crucial to us in terms of messaging.
Yes.
But it's also really important to us in terms of the support that we'll get. And of course, in my broader remit in the cloud space, we're also examining other opportunities for the use of GreenLake in the wider business. There are all sorts of advantages, of course, with common technologies. There's familiarity from the perspective of implementation and support. And of course, there's that much, much richer ecosystem of software and services, cloud-based, with the likes of the GreenLake cloud platform.
Yeah.
And indeed, something that we should never forget in an MSP space is that if you can offer better value to your customers and have someone else drive some of that day-to-day activity, I don't know, take firmware patching, say.
Yeah.
It's a necessary evil. MSP teams, they have to do it, but it takes time. If we can move that across into the HPE managed service space and have that as a consumption model, why wouldn't we?
Absolutely.
It absolutely makes sense to us.
Yeah, and I guess what we're seeing within partners and engaging with you is we're reselling the brand that is HPE GreenLake now from HPE. So to be able to position yourselves as a partner that have already taken that capability and that solution in-house, whilst you're then working with the customer to see what fits for them. Is it a service that you guys provide, or actually it's a service they want to take from you via the GreenLake platform as well? You've got, I guess, that best of both worlds that you can offer them.
And there are some real credentials there as well. It's the practice what you preach thing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
We're in there on the resale side, looking for a customer to transact through us for GreenLake. They go, well, where have you done it? Well, we have.
Well, we have it in-house. And again, that credibility, I think, is really key, especially when I think HPE's solutions, and again, they enhance the offering really regularly. And it seems to be kind of on a weekly basis for all of us trying to keep ahead of the solutions. And I guess from Andrew, from your side, when you're looking about positioning the best fit for customers, you're saying you want to look at the business outcomes and the workloads. Again, we've been quite successful together with some of the opportunities we've worked on. If you can give us a little bit of a feel of, I guess, where you've positioned, where it fits, why the customers then chose the solution they did, and how obviously then it's combated the initial challenges.
Yeah, it's an interesting question because I think the customers that we're predominantly having these as a service or large sort of technology discussions with as part of a general refresh is they've got different goals.
Yes.
But it comes down to critically some key factors. Cost absolutely is always the number one driving factor about doing more for less. Skills, the shortage of skills, and Andy, you mentioned being able to take some of that low-hanging fruit of patching and updates and maintaining infrastructures to feed and water them. Skills are hard to come by and retain. So shifting some of those services as a service or something as a periodic is certainly where I'm seeing a lot of interest from customers to be able to just consume something like you would do a car lease.
Yes.
The consumerization has definitely been a real strong point. So they're two driving factors, and I think the last one is sustainability. Everybody wants to move forward with not only in reducing what the consumption is, but meter that in some way that they can reference and say, these are the savings that we're providing to our business, that we can market to our customers.
Yeah.
And that it's an ongoing saving. We're not just talking about, rationalising estates and making them smaller, but being more, clever in the way that we consume IT and can, present that to the business. So I think they're the three sort of driving factors that I see from clients. And as you say, it's finding the right fit of technology to provide that outcome, and whether they want to do it as a service, as a subscription, or a traditional capex with HPE, or as a platform that we have. We've got a route to market, and I think that's a unique offering, especially with the traditional IT and telecom services that we can mould around that ultimate journey.
Absolutely. I think you touched on one of the things I was going to mention is sustainability. I know the opportunities that we've been working on have been around public sector, for example, and we're seeing a real shift in, I guess, how relevant sustainability is with public sector. The weighting is actually getting a lot higher than what we've seen previously. And with the adoption of the sustainability dashboard within the GreenLake cloud platform, it's giving customers, I guess, that view and reporting of saying it's not just the infrastructure that they can reduce, but actually it's all the costings and the power and the cooling. Are you seeing customers taking that more consideration now than they would have done just more to reduce the footprint, consumption?
It's a personal opinion, but I think it was at some point a tick box exercise. We've all got a bearing to do more on our planet.
Yes.
And to show that. But certainly, as you say, the maturity of a lot of the public sector tenders that we see, the scoring is much more elevated, and no longer is it just a boilerplate statement. It needs to be backed with something that we stand behind.
Yeah.
Daisy, I spent an awful lot of time and resources to position what is our sustainability drive and continue to advance that messaging and invest in that area. And I think it fits really well with what you guys do at TD SYNNEX and with HPE, that it's core to that message. So definitely I see that as a really big driver, and the areas that I see of further development with HPE, what's on the horizon, and hopefully messaging that we'll see in Discover coming up is that they were going to move that not just from compute but to other areas within the technology stack, and that's only going to help us positioning those benefits, and likewise doing stuff internally with their own platforms as well.
Yeah, I mean it's crucial in that managed service space, because you've got to demonstrate your credentials.
Yes.
And also expose the data. So the sustainability dashboard, exactly as you say, hugely important. And of course, whilst in the public sector it's very important, these days now, if you're over a certain size, you're now obliged to commit to doing your TCFD reporting and so on. Again, the sustainability dashboard gives you, that easy access to data. And I think probably worth mentioning, actually, just thinking about one of the public sector platforms, the sustainability angle, given the concentration of compute power that's now available in Gen 11 and consumable under a GreenLake platform. One of those organisations, they were expecting to see a 72% reduction in power consumption.
Wow.
So you think about that in terms of a carbon footprint.
Yeah.
If we can achieve the same thing in a managed service space, and possibly from a customer's perspective, better still, because it's a one-to-many service,
Yeah.
Everyone's a winner. Yeah.
Absolutely. Again, I think from your side as Daisy, it's still quite unique. You've got your MSP play and platform, you've got resale, and let's not forget CapEx is still very important to all of us.
It is.
We're never going to say it's only consumption. And you sort of said, obviously, how things are evolved from kind of resale, but equally from a Daisy point of view, you've already got a powered by as a platform. What's next for you as an organisation kind of moving forward?
Yeah.
Is it going to be enhanced? Are you looking at more opportunities where you can use that technology?
I think we are. At the moment, we're focused very much on back as a service platforms and virtual recovery platforms. Right. In our business continuity space, we're looking at other options. Of course, Daisy as an organisation, we have our own hosted platforms, multi-tenant platforms, and we're actually looking at opportunities now to see whether we can introduce that common platform and take advantage of the GreenLake contractual model, so that we have baked in prices over that 5-year period. We can cater for growth. We can align to the green messaging and credentials and evidencing, really importantly, and hopefully we can maximise our value to our customers and drive down cost both for us and for them. It's about how do we spread the message internally and end up with that common platform, and I think that's going to be key. I think also another area that we're starting to look at, we are moving away to a degree in terms of focus on, if you like, that horizontal kind of sort of approach to things, and thinking about industry verticals.
Right. Okay.
And where things will be of particular interest to a specific vertical. And one of the areas that I've been looking at, or been tasked to look at, in fact, is manufacturing.
Okay.
And of course, the edge case now is absolutely critical, about local processing and potentially even through the use of Esmeralda for localized AI processing, whether that's image-based or whether it's IoT type device input from manufacturing devices. So we're starting to look at use cases and market messaging around that. That's kind of a bit of a long story, I suppose, for now, and it is early days. But we can see where the GreenLake and the platforms, and indeed that software ecosystem, can start to deliver some real value for customers, aside from simply picking best-in-class hardware. They're actually getting a particular business value. That's what we're really aiming for.
And again, all what you've said is really leaning into what HPE's messaging is. I mean, you mentioned the 3 key, I guess, initiatives for HPE for the year moving forward is edge, it's hybrid cloud, but equally it's AI. So to incorporate all of that in a platform that you can have to deliver to customers, but as well as having that as a resale, it's a really, really exciting time for Daisy.
It is, and of course the thing about that as an MSP is, by no means are we experts in the software space. That's not our bread and butter. So being able to potentially access those skill sets through TD SYNNEX, through HP, having that partner ecosystem can only work well for us.
No, and for all of us as well. Really appreciate your time and coming in today. So thank you very much indeed. And I'm sure we'll have a lot more to discuss and to work on over the coming months.
Indeed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.